Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Uh, Season 9, Episode 5 of The Flash, Mask of the Red Death, Part 2. The finale to the Red Death arc. And while I think it was handled okay, there's one thing missing. Oh yeah, Death. She's called the Red Death. And in the future we saw, in like season 5 or 6, when they were in the Flash Museum, there was a thing saying that Cicada's death toll was higher than the Red Death's. Well, I guess that's still accurate since she killed nobody. Red Death, I don't know. You can't say, oh, they call her Red Death because of that poem or whatever, that Harley or whatever it was. I don't know. But we basically pick up from last time. She is launching an attack on Central City, taking over the Central City Police Department and kidnapping Kramer. By the way, I don't think we get any follow-up from that. I don't know. And so they have regrouped to figure out what to do. Thanks to Cecile, they find out that Mark is still alive. So Barry mounts an attack, mounts the team to go and save him at Red Death's headquarters, which they seem shocked to find out he's still there. Why wouldn't he still be there? That's where they last saw him, right? Red Death HQ. And what happened to the rogues in this? They were here a little bit, and then at the end, it's just Red Death and Barry. The rogues just disappear. Barry's rogues help out. We get a little groupage when Allegra is teamed with Goldface, and she's like, she said the perimeter is secure, and he's like, how do you know that? You have X-ray vision? She's like, yes. Like, oh, is that part of your whole sun thing? She's like, it's not really important right now, the whole thing, you know. So they go on to rescue Mark, and it's a trap, because the three that are in there get knocked on the ass. And then, there was Goldface in there? Keone wants to go with, but she has no powers, at least that we know of. And what was that sound came out of my throat? Did you hear that? Like a baby pterodactyl in my throat. So, when he goes to save Mark, it's a trap. Red Death shows up, and we get a reveal here. Because Cecile said there was some weird telepathic power that she has. She's controlling these sentinels, as she calls them. And so there's some kind of other telepathic powers. Now, if you weren't aware, there was hints that Grodd was going to be in this episode. During one of the trailers, there's a scene where Barry's in the middle of the woods. He's looking up at something as if it was taller than him and saying, I need your help. Yeah. There was also a scene where someone wearing a hood was in CC Media, but we never saw that scene. This is in the next episode. I don't know. You think all those would be from the Red Death arc, but we haven't seen that character yet, so we shall see if it pops up. Who knows? Maybe it's a scene from something that they filmed later, and it wasn't meant to go there, or it could be something that was deleted. Who knows? Yeah, so it's revealed that Grodd was helping her because they retconned. So last season, last time we saw Grodd, they said that Gorilla City was now on Earth Prime because we got to put everything on there. And so he helped him get there. And now it's revealed that all the gorillas don't have telepathic powers except for him, so he is alone again. and they later find him in the Serengeti. Okay. They eventually rescue Mark, but he's out for most of the episode. Barry's powers are now completely gone, and the rest of the rogues, the good rogues, basically just give up. And there's a few scenes with the evil rogues, but they don't do much in this. They're supposed to guard the CCPD, and I don't think they do much, to be honest. We get a speech with Joe and Barry. Basically, they inspire each other, because this is where Joe confides in Barry that he and Cecile have been talking about moving out of Central City, which he's shocked, of course. And Barry says, "You have a superpower." I said while I was doing this scene, I said, Joe's the heart of Team Flash. Plain and simple, Joe is the heart of Team Flash. And Barry basically said the same thing, but without saying that. He said basically, Joe inspires people to be heroes. He inspired, he raised 2.5 children. Technically, he didn't raise Wally, but he helped inspire him. He inspires people every day, and so he's very important. And so Joe basically takes that advice and pushes it back to Barry that, hey, maybe you need to talk to Grodd, get him to cooperate with him. And when Barry goes to the Serengeti, which is where he is, he talks to him. Explains to him what's going on, explains to him what he didn't know, and asks for his help. And then Red Death is trying to destroy the city, of course, but because Grodd disconnects, it destroys all the Sentinels, which I was ready for some kind of big scene, but I knew we weren't going to get the CGI, We do get a CGI fight between CGI Red Death and CGI Flash, which is pretty cool. And just as it looks like Red Death's about to beat the Flash, she puts her arm up, and a gold chain wraps around her arm, pulling it back. The good rogues have arrived, or Barry's rogues, I don't know about good. Barry's rogues have arrived to help. They get knocked down their ass, but they are saved by fake Batwoman, or the real Batwoman. You know what I mean. The real Ryan Wilder. We'll put it that way. I still say she's fake Batwoman to me, but real. I even said, hey, it's fake Batwoman. The real Ryan Wilder. And so basically, there's a fight, and they end up taking the doppelganger into custody, which I was very confused about. I'm like, why wasn't she destroyed? Something, right? Why wasn't she destroyed? And they never explained how she's able to survive living out of her timeline. If her timeline doesn't exist, she would cease to exist. And if it is the suit that is doing that, she's no longer in the suit. She's no longer connected to the suit. She should cease to exist, right? Like Savitar and Thawne before her, right? The timeline no longer exists. She shouldn't exist, but they take her to Iron Heights for some reason. Now, at this point, I flipped the channel to Fox because apparently I was informed that they're doing some kind of DC superhero night, although all the characters are on Masked Singer, they were just like Batman characters, so there's other DC characters, but And I turned back, and the show was back on because it was the commercials. I turned back, it was back on. So I don't know if they explained where, where she was when she came back. Did Iris find her? I don't know. I don't know if it's ever explained. If it was, let me know in the comments. But yeah, basically we get closure with her. Hey, if you ever in Gotham City, apparently her, Kara, Alex, and Nia go out for lunch. Okay. Okay, so I haven't expressed my feelings on what they did with Supergirl in her series tonight. I didn't watch it, But I know that they basically just did an ending, like a happy ending thing, where it's implied that she's still going to be around. I think they did a thing where everyone knows who she is. I'm not exactly sure. But I thought they should have went the comic book route and have her go to the future with the Legion, like, you know, we've seen before. I thought that's how it was going to end. I started the Supergirl show believing that's how it would end, with her going with the Legion. When they introduced the Legion in season 3, I was like, okay, they're setting it up. They didn't do that. So that's just my little, gif with the Supergirl thing. But, yeah. Why did she go with her cape? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Khione wakes up Mark by kissing him, and a weird energy thing goes through him. So it's implied there's some kind of powers. Now, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear, give me about to the 12-minute mark, and I'll try to explain it quick enough. But spoiler alert for that. There are some, starting now, there are some behind-the-scenes photos, set photos, where she's wearing a suit. It looks like Killer Frost's old suit. It's some sort of suit, so it was already implied that she's going to be getting powers. Kind of how I knew that Mark was still alive. No one fully believed he was dead, except for those who really wanted him to be, but yeah, but there are set photos of her in the suit, so I knew she would get some sort of power. I knew that there's something with her, and they weren't just going to have her be normal. So, alright, spoiler talk is over. If you missed those 45 seconds, whatever I was talking about it, go back to that 11-minute, 12-second mark, I think it was. I don't know. Yeah, so Mark's awake, and then so the rogues are like, oh, by the way, there's this real cheesy line that they do before they go to commercial before Batwoman has her thing and says goodbye, where they're like, she looks at the various rogues and goes, aren't they bad guys? And she's like, I thought you were bad guys. And they're like, so did we. And they're like, I've never been to Central City before. Is it always this weird? And Barry goes, well, and looks at them, and all three of them say, it is a Wednesday. And I went, oh, okay, sure. Okay, fine. But, yes, so then we cut, after the goodbye of Batwoman and everything, we cut to 2 weeks later. All right, it's a goodbye. Oh, I should mention, Joe and Cecile talk it out. If I mentioned that. And Joe is, after saying they're not going to move to Central City, Joe and Jenna, who we only saw once in the last episode, the only time we ever saw her as a grown kid, she's not even in this episode. She's back up in her room again because she's banished to her room. And now she's banished to the country in the middle of nowhere. But Joe and Jenna are going to live in the country to keep them safe, keep her safe. It's a way to write him out for his show. And Cecile's going to come visit every weekend, I guess. Spend time, three of them. Middle of the woods, no in the country, no problems or alerts or anything. Because it seems all the stuff only happens on Wednesdays. Like, I know that a show comes on a certain day, but I never thought that the show would actually take place on that certain day. Do they ever think it's weird that everything happens only once a week? And sometimes some things take right after. And that's the case. It wouldn't be a Wednesday anymore because a couple of days passed through since the beginning of the episode, which was already the end of one day. So I don't know. We get a few things. Finally, Chester and Allegra just finally kissed and finally admitted feelings for each other. And the best thing about that was Cecile's line about, ooh, I'm glad Jenna is upstairs in her room. I laughed at that, but I was like, finally, fuck, just why did it take so long to do it? Even Iris says what everyone is thinking. She's like, I was thinking it took too long. Well, yes, exactly. And then Iris starts feeling lightheaded. They're all saying goodbye. Before we get to that, they are saying goodbye to Joe. They have like a toast or whatever. And Mark gets all sad. He still doesn't think he belongs as part of the team. You know, Barry keeps telling him he does, and he has a pep talk with him. They cheers their beers, and then, yeah. So, Iris gets lightheaded, and she doesn't know what it is, but Keone somehow knows that she's pregnant. So, yeah, and Iris wasn't supposed to get pregnant for another 3 months, so it's early. So, y'all heard that, right? I'm afraid to look out the window. I'm afraid. You heard that? This is a laugh. Someone laughing. Okay. People are talking in the hallway again. Excuse me. Just talk in your own apartments or outside. None of the hallway. That goes too much. So we end on that. So I was waiting for like a cliffhanger thing with the hooded person, but no. We end on Iris is pregnant. Okay, that's the cliffhanger, I guess. And now we are going to be entering what I like to call Filler Land. We got 13 episodes. We've already done 5. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 8 episodes in there. And I think the last part is maybe 5 episodes or 4 episodes. Maybe we have like 3 fillers and 5 parts for the last arc. So 3 fillers. I can see 3 fillers, but hopefully they'll work in some sort of connection to what's going to be the last story. Episode 9 is supposed to be a big one. It'll probably still be filler, but wait, hold on. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, we're on episode 5 now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 6, 7, 8. So maybe 9 and 10 are 2 parts, I think. And then the last, they gotta be all connected some way, shape, or form. So I don't know, but I thought it was fine. It's the conclusion of the Red Death arc. Like I said, it was okay, but where's the death in Red Death? To me, it's confusing. I don't know, but it was fine. If anyone, I've seen a lot of people say it's disappointing. If anyone went into this thinking it was going to be grand, because of Eric Wallace's, we have to have graphic novels. Now, in my opinion, I would have tried to stretch something out so half the season would be this and half the season would be the second arc, and just forget the filler. You know, we don't need it. We could put the filler in the episodes and just do little things here and there. We don't need to have 3 episodes where absolutely nothing pertaining to the overall story is happening. I hate it when they started doing that like season 7 or so. He puts in fillers that just connect to nothing. Like that whole episode where Barry was aging, but they couldn't afford the makeup to make him look older, so he was just aging inside. Fucking stupid. But yeah, we shall see how good the fillers are. Next one I think is called Good, the Bad, and the Lucky, which says that Hazard or Rebecca Sharp is going to come back. And the actors are supposed to come back, so I don't know. But the trailer did not show any of that. It was about helping Keone with her powers. So it's very interesting. But what are your thoughts on episode 5 of season 9 of The Flash. Remember to comment below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.